21.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Should I start right now, Prabhu?
Yes, mother, please. Yes.
Utsanganaro Jagne Daksho Nakustatswayambuvaha Pranabhashishta Sanjato Brigu Swati Karat Kwatuhu. I will do the word for word translation. Utsangat. Ooh, echo. By transcendental deliberation. Naradaha, Mahamuni, Narada. Jajane was generated. Dakshaha, Daksha. Angustat, from the thumb. Swayambhuvaha, of Brahma. Pranat, from the life air or breathing. Vashishtaha, Vashishta. Sanjataha was born. Brigu, the sage Brigu. Twachi, from the touch. Karat, from the hand. Kratu, the sage Kratu. All translations and purports are by His Very Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Nara was born from the deliberation of Brahma, which is the best part of his body. Vashishta was born from his breathing, Daksha from a thumb, Brigu from his touch, and Kratu from his hand. Purport. Narada was born from the best deliberation of Brahma because Narada was able to deliver the Supreme Lord to anyone he liked. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be realized by any amount of Vedic knowledge or by any number of penances. But a pure devotee of the Lord like Narada can deliver the Supreme Lord by his goodwill. The very name Narada suggests that he can deliver the Supreme Lord. Nara means the Supreme Lord, and Da means one who can deliver. That he can deliver the Supreme Lord does not mean that the Lord is like a commodity that can be delivered to any person. But Narada can deliver to anyone the transcendental loving service of the Lord as a servitor, friend, parent, or lover, as one may desire out of one's own transcendental love for the Lord. In other words, it is Narada only who can deliver the path of Bhakti Yoga, the highest mystic means for attainment of the Supreme Lord. Om Gana Timaranda Shah Gana Gana Salakaya Taksamali Tamina Tasmai Shigarave Namaha. Mukam Koti Vatalam Pangam Magayati Grim Yakripatam Bande Shigaram Dina Taranam. So here, this particular purport speaks about Narada, who was a very great devotee, and he's in now this civic succession. And you know, when I was reading all of this about Narada, I remember before I even knew much about Narada Muni, if you remember those old movies, they kind of showed him like kind of like mischievous or creating problems or not, not really showing his true value. Do you remember, anybody remember those movies if anybody saw them, the old black and white movies? And I was thinking, as I was reading about him, I was like, wow, this is amazing to learn so much about him. In here, it said that the supreme personality of Godhead cannot be realized by any amount of Vedic knowledge by any number of penances, which means that I don't care how much knowledge you have or how much you know the Vedic scripture or how much you know the slokas or anything about Vedic knowledge doesn't give you the real knowledge or really say that you understand about Bhakti Yoga, as well as penances, whatever kind of austerities you do and penances doesn't mean that you know. You have to be blessed by meeting a pure devotee. So I'm going to talk a little bit. First, I want to talk about, I was really curious about when he said that Narada was born from the best deliberation of Brahma because Narada was able to deliver. So I found a letter that was sent to Jadharani. She was asking Srila Prabhupada some questions about how to depict Narada Muni. And so I'm quoting from Prabhupada's letter, one sentence out of there, which answers this question I had about what is the best deliberation. And it says, quote, that Prabhupada said, Narada came out of Brahma's heart very little and then grew like a child. So Brahma came Narada came out of Brahma's heart and his deliberation from his heart. And then there was another letter that Prabhupada wrote to a devotee by the name of Chaturabhuj. And this devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita says that Lord Brahma is a conditioned soul. Then how is it possible for him to impart the Vedas to a non-conditioned soul who is Narada Muni? Because Narada Muni is non-conditioned in his present personality as Narada Muni is present. This is actually Narada Muni's third life because this is his third life. I'll talk a little bit about his previous lives. One of them we should all know. So the answer that Prabhupada gave is that Lord Brahma is a conditioned soul, means that due to his desire to become the creator of the material knowledge, he had to take birth within the material world. But although he was conditioned by such desire, still he's a great devotee of the Lord. These are Prabhupada's words. He wrote Brahma Samhita, a pure Vaishnava literature, and he was the first created being within the universe and the first spiritual master as he received knowledge within his heart from Lord Krishna. So this is what makes Lord Brahma a great devotee. And we know the pastimes of Lord Brahma, stealing the calves and all, but whatever these great personalities do does not take away from their greatness because they are really elevated and far beyond us as conditioned souls. So I want to talk about also, and the fact that as Narada appeared as the son of Brahma, and therefore he had to accept Lord Brahma as his spiritual master. So briefly, I'll say Narada had two previous lives. First, he was the heavenly musician, Upa Barhana. And this musician, this Gandharva, he was obsessed with material pleasures. He was a Gandharva, so he was cursed to become a Sudra. Evidently, he had exhibited some lustful behavior, and he was glorifying everyone, but he didn't glorify Lord Vishnu. He was glorifying all the demigods. So he was cursed to come down to earth as a Sudra. Then we know this, all of us as devotees know this pastime with Narada. Then he was the son of a maidservant on earth. And he just became fortunate because he was serving great sages who were coming. And he had their association, and then with their permission, he asked if he could have their remnants. So with this association and with the remnants, then it led him to a spiritual awakening, an eventful transformation into the eternal sage Narada Muni, in which he was in his spiritual body. So we all know about that, and how that's our good fortune to meet a pure devotee and be in his association. And I was thinking about one time when Guru Maharaj was finishing his lunch, and I was looking for some remnant that was left on his plate, but I didn't see anything. But I found a lemon peel that he had eaten, and I sucked on that lemon peel until it was almost gone. So I was like, okay, I read in the book where it said, if you do this, you're going to get some benefits. And I was like, okay, let me take this, and see what happens. So I'll talk about the qualities of Narada Muni, what makes him who he is. So we all know he's an empowered incarnation of the personality of Godhead. And he's in our disciplic line, succession. And there are so many great devotees of the Lord over the universe and in different planets and in different species of life, and they are Narada's disciples. So I don't know, I can pose this question to the devotees. And I even forgot to ask for blessings of all the great devotees who are online. I offer my obeisances into your lotus feet, and I feel privileged to be able to try to offer a little bit of service, a little bit of what I know to the devotees, and I'm asking for your blessings, please. So we know he has so many disciples, like he talked to Magari the Hunter, we know Dhruva, so many. He has so many that he gave uh, advice to and helped them on the path of Bhakti Yoga. And we also know Srila Vyasadeva was one of his disciples, because also Srila Vyasadeva had been not happy about what he had written in terms of the Vedic scriptures. And although in the Vedic scriptures he had mentioned a little bit about devotional service, but more about fruitive activities and worshiping the demigods, etc. And because the people are so degraded, and those persons who were reading the Vedas, mostly they wanted to have the fruits of their activities, and they weren't really looking at anything about how to serve the Lord, how to become a devotee. So Srila Vyasadeva was feeling not good at all. He was feeling like something is missing. I'm not feeling happy about this, what I've written. And so Narada Muni advised him and told him to talk about this devotional service to the Lord and how you can actually be liberated from the material world, and how this service to the Lord is the topmost service that you can do, the Bhakti Yoga. And also Narada Muni, he's the author of Narada Pantaratra. And this Narada Pantaratra is the exposition of the Vedas, particularly for the devotional service of the Lord. So according to authorized opinion, the birth of Narada as the son of Brahma is also a transcendental pastime, and it's almost put on the same level as that of the Lord. And that can be referenced in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 6, text 29 through 24, talks about that. And then also, Narada appears in the same transcendental body, just as a man awakens from sleep in the same body. And he's free to move to all parts of the transcendental and material creation of the Almighty. He appears and disappears in his own transcendental body and soul, unlike us conditioned beings. Also, Narada is the prime authority for transcendental devotional service of the Lord. We know the story of Dhruva Maharaj. When Dhruva, he was only 5 years old, but after being insulted by his father Uta, mm, I forget his name, but after being, uh, neglected, and then
Maharaj Uttanapat?
Uttapanada, right? Thank you.
Uttanapat.
Thank you, Uttanapat. Thank you. So he was angry and he wanted, to get a kingdom greater than Lord Brahma. He was determined. So he went to the woods. And when Narada Muni saw him, he was trying to tell him, you're too young to be out here. What are you doing, etc. But he saw that Juba was determined, you know. So he gave him the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So he gave, and then Juba, after 6 months, saw the Lord. So just see the gift that Narada Muni gave him when he saw, okay, this person is serious. So even though he may be young, so he gave them that boon. So, and then this Vina that Narada Muni carries is charged with transcendental sound. And he's using this to sing the transcendental glories of the Lord. That's how he's moving all over the universe, singing the glories of the Lord. And that's what we should do all the time. That's our actually constitutional position, because I've read, I can't say where, that in the spiritual world, they're always singing the glories of the Lord. That's all they do, is sing the glories of the Lord. So this sound that's vibrated by this instrument, it cannot be material. The glories and pastimes that are broadcasted by the instrument of Narada are also transcendental without a tinge of material inebriety. And also another quality I was looking up, I saw, was that Narada is infallible in his exalted position. So, given all these qualities, we understand that Narada is more than just a great personality. And he's also in our line of disciplic succession. And Brahma being impregnated with all. So in this disciplic succession, first Brahma was impregnated with all the perfect knowledge by the Lord. And it was possible for Brahma to create because he had received instructions from Lord Hari. So then, as we go down the line of the disciplic succession, then Brahma was questioned by Narada. He told Narada exactly what he heard directly from the Lord. Narada again told the exact same thing to Vyasadeva. Then Vyasadeva told exactly what he heard from Narada. And then Sukadeva was going to repeat the same statements as he heard them from Vyasa. So this is the process. This is the way of Vedic understanding. It's not something that you make up or something you think you know. It has to be coming down from a bona fide spiritual master. Because the language of the Vedas can only be revealed by the mentioned disciplic succession. And so this Vedas, this Vedic understanding, it's factual knowledge, and it has to be explained by someone who knows the process and who is blessed and empowered by his spiritual master. And also, Sukadeva Goswami, he prays that he may be able to repeat, the same message that was being passed down to him. And all of us as devotees, when we get to sit on the Vyasa side, if we're fortunate enough, we know that we are being an instrument for the Lord. We're not doing it. the Lord is helping us to pass this information and be like a parent and repeat just what has been handed to us by our spiritual master. And I also wanted to talk about Guru Day because I found something in the Srimad Bhagavatam that um, when I read it, I immediately thought of him. So, Guru Day was amazing because, when we all came, at least for us, I don't know about Africa, but in the US, we didn't know this was the Hare Krishna movement at all. If you remember one time when we had the Vyasa Puja for Gurudev, Brahma was telling Gurudev that he felt he had been tricked, you know, and Gurudev, of course, started laughing. What he said, because it was true. We didn't know what was happening actually, but he was giving us the Vedic knowledge, you know. So I just want to read this. I marked it, what it says, and immediately I thought of Gurudev and how expert he was and how he was empowered by Srila Prabhupada. So I want to read the one I found. Let's hope I can find it quickly. Um, was it five? No, what was it? Oh, 1:5:16. Okay, here it is. It's in Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 16. And to get the whole story, I'm going to read the purport, if you don't mind. It's saying that first I'll read the translation by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord is unlimited. Only a very expert personality, retired from the activities of material happiness, deserves to understand this knowledge of spiritual values. Therefore, those who are not so well situated due to material attachment should be shown the ways of transcendental realization by your goodness through descriptions of the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. And I forget who's speaking. I thought I had looked it up. So the purport, theological science is a very difficult subject, especially when it deals with the transcendental nature of God. It is not a subject matter to be understood by persons who are too much attached to material activities. Only the very expert who have almost retired from materialistic activities, a culture of spiritual knowledge, can be admitted to the study of this great science. In the Bhagavad Gita, excuse me, it is clearly stated that out of many hundreds and thousands of men, only one person deserves to enter into transcendental realization. And out of the many thousands of such transcendentally realized persons, only a few can understand the theological science specifically dealing with God as a person. Sri Vyasadeva is therefore advised by Narada to describe the science of God directly by relating his transcendental activities. Vyasadeva is himself a personality expert in this science, and he is unattached to material enjoyments. Therefore, he is the right person to describe it, and Sukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, is the right person to receive it. Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost theological science, and therefore it can react on the layman as medicinal doses. Because it contains the transcendental activities of the Lord, there's no difference between the Lord and the literature. The literature is the factual literary incarnation of the Lord. So the layman can hear the narration of the activities of the Lord. Thereby, they are able to associate with the Lord and thus gradually become purified from material diseases. The expert devotees also can discover novel ways and means to convert the non-devotees in terms of particular time and circumstance. And this is the one sentence that I was also applying to Gurudev, how he converted us all into Krishna devotees because he understood the science and he understood how to give it, how to share it with us. Um, Devotional service is a dynamic activity, and the expert devotees can find out competent means to inject it into the dull brains of the materialistic population. I call myself having a very dull brain when I was came to the institute and was having the privilege of have the association of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, because I remember also he had to tell me to bow down. And even though everybody else was bowing down, I wasn't bowing down. He had to tell me. And I saw the devotees doing it, but I was like, what are they doing? And so he told me. In fact, he came in a dream and told me to bow down. So it says here the expert devotees can discover novel ways and means. And also, not just novel ways and means, but also because of so much lack of love in the material world, Gurudev gave us a community. He gave us the love. You know, he gave us his concern. He gave us his availability, you know, to always be able to talk with him and ask questions, and made it into the community, and also showed us that it's not only, you know, like just a theoretical knowledge or a science, but it's also fun. It can be fun. It's serious, but also it can be fun, because in the spiritual world, everyone's happy. Nobody in the material world is happy, no matter how much they think they are or say they are. And we're all looking for happiness. We're all looking for love and happiness. And this is what Gurudev gave us. He gave us love. He gave us happiness. He gave us fun. He gave us all the sides of devotional service, you know, like going on picnics and, you know, sledding in the snow and jumping in somebody else's pool, riding bicycles, you know, like who does that? You know, I remember Gurudev said, even if I have to wear a diaper, if I have to wear a diaper, I'll preach, you know. So he was expert too. He was an expert, pure devotee, and was able to give us the theological information in a way, in a simple way that we could understand it. No, such transcendental activities of the devotees for the service of the Lord can bring a new order of life to the foolish society of materialistic men. So we just have to be like serious, disciplined, and determined to achieve the highest perfection of meeting the Lord and attain the objectives, you know, just by having been guided by a pure devotee. And our spiritual master, he's always present. We may not see him visually, but he's always present with us. That's my feeling, that he's always present. And he's available by dint of our serious determination to meet the Lord by all means. So we just show our determination to push through this process, even during the challenges and um, the reversals, which will definitely come in devotional service. The reversals and the difficulties and the challenges will definitely come, but we should just hold fast to the lotus feet of our spiritual master and really work on reaching the goal. And we have so many examples in our scriptures too, you know. We will have challenges, definitely. So, and then we can experience being promoted to the transcendental position and easily cross this ocean of nations, the source of all miseries, you know. So I'm praying in that way while I'm in Vrindavan, taking advantage of being here in Vrindavan. And definitely in Vrindavan, the tests are very much more difficult being here in Vrindavan. But still, it's also very blissful at the same time, you know. So I'll end it here, and if anyone has any questions or comments or corrections, I welcome them.
Well, Hare
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for speaking. I think before even devotees may attempt to ask some questions or have their doubts cleared or share some realizations, if you may share the glories of Her Grace Mother Kalini Devi. Mother Kalini Devi, if I should say, is a special auntie to lots of us, especially those of us on this platform, because she's a direct Srila Prabhupada disciple. And personally, I was fortunate to serve under her. And of course, our revered speaker, Her Grace Mother KARTAMISHA, served under her much longer than I did. We both served together at Gita Nagri. And exactly 10 years ago today, September 3rd, 2015, she left her transcendental body at Gita Nagri. So before I share something on Her Grace, I would like Mother KARTAMISHA to share something on this special soul briefly. And after that, I will also share a little bit more light on who Mother Kalini was or still is, because she's still here with us, but like Mother KARTAMISHA was saying, Gurudev is here, but most of us cannot see him, cannot experience him because we're not trying to do devotional service as we're supposed to. Oftentimes, it is very easy for us all to recognize the guru, the initiating guru, the sannyasis, as pure devotees, as advanced devotees. But little do some of us know or realize that pure devotee or advanced devotee is not limited to an initiating guru or a sannyasi, things like that. There is a story I heard about one young lady. I will look for the video. If I find it, I'll play for everyone to hear. That there was one young devotee. This was the early days in devotional service. This young lady, she was in her late teens. So she was like 19 years old. And according to the story, she happens to be like the first devotee to ever leave her body in devotional service. Because when devotees joined, most of the devotees were very young, so nobody was dying. Everybody was still serving. And this young devotee, a lady, passed away. So the devotees were very morose. They didn't know what to do. And so they went to Srila Prabhupada and shared with Srila Prabhupada what had happened and why the devotees are so morose, why the devotees are so sad. And Srila Prabhupada said to the devotees, "Why are you sad?" She went back home, back to Godhead. And the devotees were shocked that this young lady went back home, back to Godhead, because she never took initiation. She was not even initiated. So they questioned Srila Prabhupada. This person was not even initiated by you. And Prabhupada, you're telling us She went back home. She said, yes.
Mhm.
I didn't have to initiate him physically. I accepted her and she accepted me. And by her devotional service, she went back home. So Mother Colini was not, of course, we know women do not take sannyas order. So obviously she was not a sannyasi. She was not a guru. She was not an initiating guru. But after Mother Kathamisha shares something on her, I will also share something. And I know there are a few devotees here who knew her, served under her, if they also want to share something. But looking back at who this person was and how I saw her, how I felt her, she was a pure devotee. If not pure devotee, because I cannot tell who is pure, who is not pure, but she was very exclusively an advanced devotee. So, Mother Kathamisha, please, you may share about Mother Kalini Devi, and then after that, I will share a little bit more about who
Okay.
this great soul was. And
Okay.
thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mother Cluny was a very pure soul, actually. And one is when Guru Maharaj told me to move and go to Gitanagari, um, and Bali took me in his ice cream truck. He moved all my things to Gitanagari, and the first person who met me was Mother Kanini. And we were late. We got there like around 11 or 12 at night. And Mother Kanini actually came to greet me and to take me to my room. Now, I can't say that, I tend to be very contrary. So it's not that I always follow everything. So I know me and Mother Cleany bumped heads, but it wasn't in a negative way because I respected her very much. I could see her pureness. And she's given me several instructions, but one of the first thing I remember in one of my interactions with her is Guru Dev had given me a present to give to her, because this was when we all first started moving there. And I felt like Guru Dev was just trying to reach out to her in terms of, making her comfortable with the transitions that were going on in Gitanagari because she had been there for years, So he was just trying to make her comfortable. So it was something he gave me. Now I'm trying to remember exactly what it was he told me that I had given to her this gift, and I kept thinking it had something to do with the Stringer Day, but I can't remember exactly what it was I gave her that he gave to me to give to her. And I was saying that sometimes we clashed was because as I was doing the deities, um, I was always asking for money to buy this for the deity, to get this for the deity, and Mother Cleany had been there for so long, and we know that the finances weren't that great. So I was always worrying her about, getting something for the deities, but she was always very level, like level. She didn't she was always balanced in terms of how she and I related to one another. And I remember she also was telling me because she one time. Oh, let me do this first. Oh, also, I interviewed Mother Kanini and got her whole life story. I had it on tape, and I cannot find the tape. She told me her whole life story from the time she became a devotee to the time she got married to the time her and her husband separated, and he became what's his name? Kesava Bharati. So many stories, and I wanted to, and I did it because I wanted to write her story. But when I moved from Gitanagari, the tape got lost in the moving, and I'm really sorry about that. And and she would instruct me. She would say, okay, when she saw that I was wearing a turban, she was saying, "Oh, you're wearing a turban." I said, yes, I'm wearing a turban just to cover my hair because when I go on the altar, I don't want to keep pulling up my sari to cover my head. And she said, well, that's okay as long as that um, turban head bows down to the Lord every day. You know, she would give me instructions like that. And her nature was very austere. I remember one time seeing her, you know, she would milk the cows every morning and every evening. She milked the cows. And one morning I saw her, and you know how it is on the farm when it gets cold. I mean, in the real winter, ice and snow, you can't hardly walk on the road. There's so much ice. But one morning I saw her go out. She had on this big army coat, and she had a red little wagon that she put the milk buckets in. And she put the buckets in the little wagon, and she was walking down through the snow and the ice and the cold to go milk the cows. And she milked the cows every day. And every service she did was like, it wasn't like there was any complaint or any, you know, she just was surrendered fully to doing those services. And she was particularly attached to a cow. The cow's name was Vishaka. Her and Vishaka were like bosom buddies. The cow loved her and she loved that cow, you know, and they were always together and she was always petting her and milking. And the thing is that that cow, Vishaka, she was almost 15 years old and she was still giving milk because Mother Kalini was milking her. She was still giving milk. And Mother Kalini was very sad when that cow left the body. But she buried her in the back of the barn and put some maha things on her body. And she buried her in the backyard there, you know. And another thing I remember is when I started taking Radha Damodar to New Vrindavan for the Festival of Inspiration. And you know, Mother Cleany was kind of quiet. It's not like she shared a lot of her mind. She was very quiet and internal. But she didn't say anything to me when I was taking Radha Damodar to New Vrindavan. I did that for, I think, about 4 years. But she told me in the end when I stopped doing it, she said, you know, I always trusted you with Radha Damodar. You know, she said that's why, you know, she didn't say anything because she saw that I was taking nice care of them. So she gave me a nice compliment. And I always remember that because I didn't think that she would reveal that to me, but she did, you know. And then when we were attending, me and some other devotee, I forgot who it was, we were going to the Sadhu Sangha in Boone when it was being held in Boone. And Mother Kalini came to share our room, and she was sick during that time. This is when her health was going down, and she was apologizing for, you know, she said, I hope I don't keep you awake because at night I have a lot of coughing, you know. So she was a very humble person, a very, I feel, exalted person, and was a quiet, you know, she was one of these devotees who they nobody notices them, they're very quiet, but there's so many devotees like that, you know, like they're just doing their service, not seeking recognition, but pushing on Prabhupada's movement and being steady and being, you know, like completely surrendered to whatever service was given. And she dressed Jagannath in the morning, and then she would cook too as well, cook lunch. She did a lot of service with a good heart, and I think that's mostly what I had. But um, I just appreciate her austere nature. I appreciate her surrender, and also the gentle side of her as well, because it must have been difficult. Uh, a lot of times I get angry with the coming and going of devotees and not being many there. And I'm sure she had to cover a lot of services, but she was dedicated. to her service and to the mission of Srila Prabhupada. So that's all I can share.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mother KARTAMISHA, for sharing these beautiful pastimes of Her Grace Kalini Devi. Dear devotees, I would like to just put up the divine image of Her Grace Mother Kalini so that those who probably didn't know her may see her. So this is Mother Kalini. Her legal name was Gail Beck, and her initiation name given to her by Srila Prabhupada was Kalini. Well, I'll remove this and I'll read a little bit about Mother Kalini. So, just like Mother KARTAMISHA was saying, Mother Kalini actually got in touch with Srila Prabhupada's movement as early as 1972. And she quickly moved to the temple. And actually, just like Mother KARTAMISHA was saying, she was born, Mother Kalini was born in Northern California. And just in 1972, while on a trip to Mexico, upon her return, her husband, Kenneth Beck. So Kenneth Beck, who later became Keshava Bharati Swami, had also gotten one of Prabhupada's books. Kalini followed him, that is, her husband, to ISKCON, joining the San Francisco Temple that same year. She received an initiation from Srila Prabhupada in 1973. We should be mindful of the dates. She received initiation from Srila Prabhupada in 1973. And in 1976, she moved to Gitanagari, 76, in Pennsylvania, US. From there, she headed up a women's Sankirtan party, traveling around the US in a motorhome and distributing books. And of course, like Mother KARTAMISHA was saying, at Gitanagari, during those times, it was kind of very, very austere place. Gurudev used to say that, Iswasi Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj used to say that Gitanagari was like a jail, and all the devotees are inmates, because there is no room for sense gratification at Gitanagari. Even if you want ice cream, you have to drive at least 6 miles away. So it was an austere place for a California girl in the divine body of Mother Kalini. But she stayed there. And it says later on, after the book distribution, she started doing cooking for the deities and devotees at Gitanagari, which she continued to do for 30 years. 30 years. She was always surrounded to whatever needed doing. She also cared for the farms, many cows, served as the head pujari. And when many devotees left Gitanagari in the mid-1980s, which we're not going to go into that, she even took on the post of the temple president. So that is what Mother KARTAMISHA was saying. His Holiness Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj was trying to reach out to her in a very special and a unique way, because there was lots of changes coming up, because Gurudev had just been invited to go to Gitanagari to help with the project. Now, from this writing and also from my experience, it's so true that she was like the mother of the community. No. everybody respected her that way. She was always quiet, but she was very, very easily approachable. I remember when we were really new in Gita Nagri, and lots of people would come, and then we didn't know anybody. Mother Kalini will call us and then introduce us to these devotees and introduce the devotees to us. She would say, these are Bhakti Maharaj disciples from West Africa, Ghana, and they're here, they're 7, they love Kirtan. She was quiet. She will attend the deities on the altar every morning. That's Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. Those were her deities. And I remember before, I've forgotten the technical name, before we do Ratha Yatra, that is Snana Yatra, yes. We'll carry the Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra deities to the cabin, that is Sasarup Maharaj's cabin. And she never missed that service once. Even when it's snowing, very, very cold, and the snow is maybe 6-7 feet high, she still will walk through to go to the barn to milk the cows and bring the milk to the temple and offer the milk to Krishna. So her health started going down at some point, and then she was diagnosed of cancer. And I mean, she tried her best, as everybody will, to take care of herself, but eventually she left her body on 3rd September 2015 at approximately 2:20 a.m. 2:20 in the morning, she left her body. And I remember, I think Mother Yashoda called me and told me that Mother Kalini had left her body. So right from work, and she told me that very day, they were going to do her service. So right from work, I drove straight to the temple. And fortunately for me, I met her transcendental body. We took her body around the temple like 3 times. And finally, we brought her right in front of the temple. And we did lots of bhajan, kirtan, and the rest is history. But if anything, what I remember so dearly of Mother Kalini was how simple she was, and how dedicated she was. I never heard her complain about anything. If she complained about something, she is just telling you that something wasn't done appropriately. But I never heard her complain about her inconvenience, about difficulties or hardships she was going through. And I used to wonder, when does this lady actually get the time to read? Because she was always busy and engaged, yet she was very knowledgeable. And that was very surprising to me. Someone who is always so busy serving, either on the altar, in the kitchen, or at the barn, taking care of the cows. And if you've ever taken care of the cows, you know it's not an easy thing. It's not a simple service. It's very difficult, very, very detailed. And she did this for so many years. Mother KARTAMISHA, I remember sometimes, the water in Gidanagri used to be like hard water.
Yeah.
Yes. The rest of us, we wouldn't like to drink the water from Gidanagri. We'll have to go to town and then buy bottled water. But Mother Kalini, she didn't really care that much. If there is no bottled water around, she drinks the water. No, she says that's what the deities are using. So if the deities are using for bathing or whatever, of course, later on, we tried to manage in such a way that the deities were not using the tap water from the dam from the temple. But her selflessness, her honesty to Srila Prabhupada's teachings and service is amazing. There is one time where it is said that they were doing Vyasa Puja for Srila Prabhupada, and all the devotees were saying something to glorify Srila Prabhupada. And Mother Kalini was sitting at the far end back. She never said anything. So a couple of devotees approached her and said to her, Mother Kalini, everybody is saying something about Srila Prabhupada. What do you have to say about Srila Prabhupada? And she said something very simple, but so true and so penetrating. So let me see if I can find it here to read it. Okay, it says, you know Prabhupada so much. No, I'm reading the wrong thing. So so someone was asking Mother Kalini to say something, and she said, and Prabhupada saw that, here, like Vrindavan, not the faults that we see, the faults in the crazy mind. On a bargain tape, I heard in the kitchen, your mind in something greater. How did he say it? You have to have, and then this person said something better to do. And then Mother Kalini laughs. And then he says, right. And what could be better than doing something for Prabhupada? You know what I mean? See, I don't know how to speak very well. This is Mother Kalini speaking. I don't know how to speak very well. That's my problem. One of my problems. I don't know how to express myself. I know what I'm feeling and thinking, but I don't know how to. And then this person says, Kalini Ma, I think Prabhupada just spoke right through you. And then Mother Kalini says, it's actually simple, huh? And then she goes on to say that, Prabhupada, Prabhupada so much liked the atmosphere here, that is Gidanagri, when he came. And so many devotees who came here say this, this place has the mood of Vrindavan, Gidanagri. Gidanagri does. Gidanagri does have the mood of Vrindavan. That's special. And then she laughs again. She says, but they come here and they specifically say it's like Vrindavan in the West. I've had so many devotees tell me that, who have been to Vrindavan and who've come back, and they say the closest thing to Vrindavan in the West is Gitanagari. Well, here we have Mother KARTAMISHA here, who was a Gitanagari resident and now a resident of Sri Vrindavan Dhan for so many years. So I believe Mother KARTAMISHA can attest to this fact that one particular place outside of Vrindavan itself that is quite close to Vrindavan is Gitanagari. And you may travel outside of Gitanagari to anywhere, and once you start driving back to Gitanagari, once you get closer to Gitanagari, the mood somehow suddenly changes. And you feel so serene, so blissful. And that reminds me of one thing Gurudev said. It says, when a place is very spiritually surcharged, everyone that comes to that particular place feels spiritually surcharged also. And even sometimes animals can also feel. And so even if animals are wild, they get tamed just being in that environment. So I would like to pause here and say, I see Mother Jambavati here, I see Mother Yashoda here, and I think Mitravinda is here. Mitravinda also served so many years with Mother Kalini. If these devotees would have something to share, please, you may do so before we call it a day. We're also paying attention to the time because Mother KARTAMISHA is speaking from Vrindavan. It's a little late at time. But Other Mitravinda Devi, if you may have something to share, I don't know if Arichakra Prabhu, just Mother Jambavati, whoever would like to go, please, you'll be on mute and then share something briefly on her.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very loud and clear.
We can hear you.
I'm Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories. This is such a special day. A special lecturer, Her Grace KARTAMISHA Prabhu. And the topic of Mother Kalini is also very special. There are so many pastimes of Mother Kalini, but I guess the famous one that you all have mentioned is her, trudging through the snow to get to the cows to milk them. And it's out of her love and compassion, because as a mother, we know that, that if your breasts are full of milk, it can be very discomforting and it's painful, and the cows suffer if they're not milked, regularly. And rather than let them suffer, she trudged through the snow to put them out of their discomfort. And so that's a very, very famous pastime of Mother Kalini. One that I'd like to share, we were in the kitchen and we were cooking. She was cooking rice. And in terms of distributing the mercy, of prasadam to everyone that partakes of this meal, when she was washing the rice, or offering it rather, because I just want to make sure that I get every morsel of rice, because it's imbued with the prasadam prayers, and we want everyone to be blessed, and I don't want to miss one grain of offering this to Krishna. So she was very serious about that. Mother KARTAMISHA, the pastime that you spoke of when we were in Sadhu Sangha, I was there. I think I believe I was one of the roommates. And Mother Helena, she was actually quite funny. I can't remember, she had some funny hat or something on her head, and I'd never seen her in such a jolly mood, even though she was suffering. She was in a lot of pain, because of her health, at that time. But she managed to be very, very jolly when we were at Sadhu Sangha in Boone. And then there was one more thing. Oh, this is my ego. Mother KARTAMISHA, I remember, I believe I was the one that recommended that you take Radha Damodar to the Festival of Inspiration because they would be celebrities there. And yes, you were so attentive to them. I remember everybody was, participating in the activities and what have you, but you were so attentive to Radha Damodar, as their pujari there. You cooked, did the offerings, everything, her teas. And sure enough, though, so many people remember Radha Damodar. I mean, they're very famous deities. They're the first traveling Sankirtan deities, that traveled all over the United States. And people were very, very happy to see them. And there was one more thing that I wanted to say. When you talked about, our good fortune to meet pure devotee, I'm going to say I have the good fortune to know you as a god sister. And you mentioned that when you took the remnant of Gurudev's lemon, that, someone told that there would be some benefits from it, from that maha. And definitely you have been benefited and blessed by our Gurudev, because you're definitely one of our stalwart generals. And I offer my humble obeisances to you and 1 million dandavats. Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for sharing that with the Jandavati. You are amazing devotee yourself too. And of course, it's always blissful to have Mother KARTAMISHA be with us, because, like I always say, at the time she was at Gidanagri, she was the head pujari, and she encouraged me to do altar service, which I don't like. I don't like altar service, but she let me do it, and I will always thank her for letting me do that, because it's always blissful having direct contact with the deities. And I say I don't like altar service because I'm not a very disciplined person. And being on the altar means you should be very disciplined.
There was one more thing I just wanted to mention.
Yes, please go ahead.
Everyone was talking about Mother Kalini's, service in terms of caring for Lord Jagannath during Snaniyatra. I have a picture of her on my wall that's been there for years, of her carrying Lord Jagannath to Satsvarup Maharaj's cabin, where she so wonderfully and lovingly took care of them for those 2 weeks prior to the Rath Yatra. And I'm not at home, otherwise I would share it.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll do it on Connections later on.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Mother Mitra, are you available to speak? Are you able to speak? Arichakra Prabhu, are you able to say some few words, since we all served under her?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Arichakra Prabhu.
Yeah, Dandavat Pranam to all glories to this day, all glories to all. And all glories to Her Grace Kalini Devidasi Ki.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mother KARTAMISHA and Jamavati, Dave, and Sir Dave yourself, you read all that you read about Mother Kalini. I mean, it's all that we need. I need to. I mean, I have, because like you were emphasizing about her service attitude. Mother Kalini's service attitude is unparalleled. I mean, and she was down to earth. When you meet Mother Kalini and you speak to her, it's as if you even joined the movement before her. She was down to earth. She would talk to you as if you are her equal. And she was easy to talk to, because she would never make you feel, oh, I'm your senior, I'm your spiritual master's god sister, and I need that respect or so. No, Mother Kalini meets you and she talks to you, oh, Harichakrupu, how are you? And as if you are so exalted than her. I mean, yeah, that woman is like, I mean, if I'm supposed to categorize her now, I don't know where to put her. I mean, when we speak of pure devotees, I think if Mother Kalini is not a pure devotee, then maybe I don't understand what a pure devotee means. Because this woman was everything that you know. And one perfect thing I remember about, when she was really sick, she was really, really sick and she had been taken to upstate New York. And that was during the time Astanga had to wed. And we wanted someone to officiate Astanga's wedding. So we reached out to Mother Kalini, and Mother Kalini said, I would do everything to officiate this wedding. And she was in pain. Yet she came all the way down from upstate New York and officiated Astanga's wedding. Can you imagine it? If any of us were to be sick as Mother Kalini was, I don't think we would have taken the trouble to drive all the way from upstate New York, which is about 5 to 6 hours drive, to come down just to officiate Astanga's wedding. But she did it. And I was so full of gratitude for her coming down. So Mother Kalini said, and like I said, the first time when we had come to Gitanagri, we had not seen snow before. And the first time it was snowing, you couldn't imagine. Mother Kalini was shouting, hey, Mother Yashoda, Astanga, hey, Arichak, you guys should come. Snow is coming. And we were all running in it, and Mother Kalini was running with us to go. And somebody who has been experiencing snow all her life, but she was running with us just for us to feel how the snow feels like. I mean, she was so down to earth. And I don't know. When she passed away, I was the one who actually officiated on house last rites. And her body didn't look like a dead body. She was glowing like something, glowing. And you look at her lying down there and you're thinking maybe she's sleeping. So Mother Kalini was, I mean, I don't know what to say, but to me, personally, I think she was a perfect example of a pure devotee. And everything she says, she wants to share. When Mother Kalini single-handedly will go to the barn and milk the cows, she will make so much punya, so much curd. And she was ready to share it to every single person. Oh, Mother Kalini. And her dedication to the deities, the Jagannath deities, it was so unique. Never late to take care of the deities. She was always prompt. And right from the altar, she will go and milk the cows and come back and cook.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we have devotees of a caliber, like we will be somewhere by now, so really somewhere. If you have like about 5 of her type now
Mm-hmm.
with us, I think we will go somewhere. Really go somewhere. And during her time, there wasn't much facilities at Gitanagri. Yet she was always there to help, to do her service. Kalini Mata Ki Jai.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was doing everything, and that's why I was saying I was surprised. How does she get any time to read? But she was very shastric, even though she very seldomly spoke. So, and more so, like when you are close to her, the energy you feel and the calmness you feel, the bliss, the joy is unthinkable. Well, we've been here for almost 90 minutes. Does anyone else have something to share? Otherwise, except if someone has something to ask concerning the Krishna Katha shared by Mother KARTAMISHA, then you may ask a question or two before we leave. Oh, Sati Devi, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I wanted to share an experience I had. I didn't know Mother Queen actually. I only met her probably once at New Vrindavan, but I was there when she came to leave her body at Gita. She came back and we did kirtan for 4 days straight, and in her ashram with her. And the morning she left, the early morning she left, I was in my ashram sleeping, and I heard it was around 2:30. So you said 2:20, but I heard conch shells blow. And I don't know if it was actually you might have, but I heard conch shells blowing, and I woke up thinking that I missed Malgurati, and I was like looking around my room, and my clock said 2:30, and I was like, no, I can still go back to sleep. So I went back to sleep, and I heard conch shells blowing again, and I was like, it's not Malgurati. I'm not missing Malgurati. And that moment, Ariel, she's initiated now. I don't remember her initiate name right now, but she knocked on my door and she asked me for my garland making needles, and she said that Mother Queenie had just left her body, and that she needed my needles to make garlands for her to put on her. And so in my interpretation, I felt like that was like it was the air was very auspicious then too, and it was very quiet outside, and you could hear all the insects, and I just feel like that was like Goloka, like welcoming her home. That's what I kind of felt like, but I had that experience.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sati Devi. And I'm glad that you were there at the moment she said goodbye to us, at least physically, externally. But like Mother KARTAMISHA said, she is still here with us. Those who would want to serve will get help from her. So thank you for sharing. Anyone else with something else to share, to say, or to ask before we bring this to a close?
Hare Krishna, Pausari.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Senses, all glories to Gurudev, all glories to Prabhupada, and all glories to assembled devotees.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mother KARTAMISHA, for your class, and happy to see you. And so, soon I'm going to see you in Vrindavan, so pray for me.
No, you know what? Unfortunately, you won't see me.
What? Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mother
Kalini.
Ki Jai.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mother Kalini. when I think of Mother Kalini, I think of her motherly nature. When we first moved to Gidanagri, like all the Ghanaian devotees were saying, Sahadev and Hari Chakra, she is always in the kitchen cooking. And myself and Astanga, we always go there to help her cook. And she will teach us how to cook different preps because we were used to cooking Ghanaian dishes. And she was showing us how to make some dishes that we normally don't do in Ghana. So she was mother for all of us. And all the time, anytime she cook, and she cooked the rice, and when the rice is burnt, and she figured out that we can eat that, she was so excited because she didn't want anything to go waste. So she would put all the rice, the burnt rice, in another pot and cover it and write on top of it for Hari Chakra. And sometimes Mother KARTAMISHA will come and say, no, I need some of that rice too. Yeah, so Mother Kalini, her motherly nature is unbelievable.
Mm.
That she always there for us. Sometimes she will go to a thrift shop, get a sweater, and she will wash it and fold it, and she will put my name and Astanga's name. This is for Astanga, and this is for Yashoda. And I will come to the kitchen and say, I have something for you. And I go, and she will give us those sweaters. Oh, it was so beautiful. So we miss her a lot. And now that I'm even talking about her, I'm getting sad, and at the same time, I'm happy because I know she's in good place. Yeah, I miss her a lot. And Mother KARTAMISHA, I know at least you are here. So we have so many pastimes together. It was beautiful.
Mm.
Mother Kalini David Asikija.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear what Yashoda shared.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Surprised.
yeah. I mean that should tell all of us how special Mother Kalini is. If Mother Kalini could get Mother Yashoda to talk,
Me
that's very
too.
special.
Wow.
And again, Mother Sati also said something in the chat room, which is very interesting. Only she can say what she said because lots of people here do not know it. In Ghana, the burnt rice has a special name. It's called kanzo. So Sati just put that in the chat room. Kanzo.
I know in some Caribbean, I think you remember Mariata.
Yes.
They called it bun bun.
Oh, Marietta Preston.
They like that burnt whatever too, but they called it
Yeah.
bun bun. Give me some of that bun bun.
Yeah. Hamsaduta Prabhu, please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, grace, please kindly accept my obeisances.
Hare Krishna.
God the Puri, Public Prabhupada, and all glories to wonderful servant devotees. I just wanted to appreciate Mother KARTAMISHA. I'm very, very, very happy to see you here today. In New Brindaban, Palace of Gold, there's one deity outside facing the fountain. And I asked them, what is the name of this deity? And they say KARTAMISHA. And for some reasons, I become so addicted to this KARTAMISHA. And I heard they say, don't joke with KARTAMISHA. He's very, very, very straight. This Christian is very, very straight. And for some reasons, most of the time, I'll forget the name. And I'll go, this Krishna, the straight Krishna, what is the name? KARTAMISHA. So I remember last month when we were in India in my Guru Maharaj class, and we started sharing some pastimes. and I'm one person who love pastimes so much. And you say one, and you, oh, I remember another one. I want to share it, and you keep sharing and sharing it. It was so inspiring. And for some reason, because of you, I memorized the name KARTAMISHA. And you did the same thing today, sharing wonderful pastimes. So I just want to appreciate you and thank you so much to share the pastimes today. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for sharing. Well, devotees, we are very grateful to have your association today, as always. And if there is one takeaway we all needed to have from the divine saintly life of Her Grace Mother Kalini Devi, is simplicity and surrender.
That's the qualities of a devotee. Simplicity.
Yeah. She was so simple and she was so surrendered. And like I was saying, she's a California girl. She's a city girl living in this remote, isolated, and difficult environment with love, with joy, is unbelievable. No. Mother Yashoda talking about Mother Kalini giving her and Ashtanga saris. I just remembered she gave me dhotis also. She gave me dhoti on 2 different occasions, a dhoti and chadar. And in fact, she was the very person who encouraged me to become a nurse. I didn't have any thought of becoming a nurse or going to nursing school or whatever. But you remember when we were caring for our godbrother, Krishna Loka, Mother Kalini played so much important role in caring for Krishna Loka. So when she saw how we were caring for him, then she said that, oh, Sahadev, you could become a nurse. And I just picked that. And here I am. So my indebtedness to Mother Kalini, of course, spiritually, I cannot pay her back, but materially, I thank her for helping me become a nurse today. And Mother KARTAMISHA, if you have a concluding remark, please, you may do that, and then we'll bring this to a final close.
Oh, I just want to say, we were speaking about Gita Nagari, and you know, I came, was it last year? Yeah, last year sometime I came. And stepping back into Gita Nagari, I felt more of its specialness, its spirituality, the magic of it. And I kept saying, telling everybody, Gita Nagari is really magical. Y'all don't know. It's really magical.
Yeah.
It's very magical. Because I had been away so long. But when I stepped onto the forest and the ground, I was like, wow, I really miss this place too. This is why Gurudev left there.
Yeah.
It's really magical.
Yeah.
You know? And I also give my dandavats, koti to Mother Kalini for, you know, staying there and taking care of Radha Damodar and taking care of whoever came there.
Yeah. Jai.
That's my words.
Jai. Jai. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute yourselves, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to Her Grace, Mother KARTAMISHA, for speaking with us today, and also the opportunity to have been able to share some glorious pastimes of Her Grace Kalini Devi. Please, you may all unmute. Jai. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Alma
Rama, Hare
Karimyascha, Kripa
Patapatu
Sindhya
Kripa
Jana
Siddhya,
Bhavanebhyo
Patitam
Vaishnavyo
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavi Om Namaha.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to Her Grace Kalini Devi Ki Jai.
Jai,
All glories to Her Grace KARTAMISHA Devi Ki Jai. All glories
Jai,
to Vishnu
Round
Bhagavad
of
Ki
applause.
Jai. All
Jai.
the assembled Vaishnava devotees Ki Jai.
Right.
Jai.